Fury knockup, which didn't really work in Rosa's favor on the rotations. And speaking of rotations, rotating on over to game number 2, a possible final stand for FLUX Esports if they're not careful. ONIC leading the way 1-0.
Be banning out the Lilia themselves, knowing that Rosa actually plays that hero so well. If you look back at the M4, some of the group stages matches and some of the matches before, like during the qualifiers that for the Turkish qualifiers as well. Guinevere is going to be the ban here for FLUX Esports. I believe that they also banned out Vexana in the previous game, which is kind of off-putting. At the same time, it didn't matter anyways because ONIC just picked up Lilia, right? And I think at this point, Sans is a player that you don't really want to target ban in the first phase because it's gonna be playing almost anything anyways, right? So it's sometimes it's not worth it, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. The Navari banned out too. I think the Mathilda's definitely going to be the option next for FLUX Esports. Not something I would be willing to put into the hands of ONIC. So that should be their next ban on the table. Now, there are still some other heavy hitters. We've seen the Joy constantly being banned out. Could be an answer. FLUX is going to go ahead and ban out the Ruby, though. I respect it. I mean, the Ruby's, like you said, is such a strong pick. One of the most picked heroes so far in Game of Futures 2024. Right. Be able to flex it into the roam position, into the XP lane. That double threat that it can provide is not really worth letting it walk in the draft. Mathilda's still on the table, though. That should be the last ban for the side of FLUX, and ONIC with the response. Interesting the way they're banning this out so far. It's definitely calculated specifically toward FLUX as they ban out the Hilda.
The reason why they ban Hilda is because they know they ban it like third, right? So they know that FLUX Esports will have to choose between Nolan and Joy because they're both open. And if you're looking at ONIC Esports, they know that the only reason why Kyrie on an assassin like a Joy or a Nolan will struggle in their laning stage or the early stages of the game is when there's a Hilda that goes for it. So that's an interesting manner. And I think that right now you can automatically assume that this first pick from ONIC is either Nolan or Joy, whatever it is open. Mathilda, the ban from FLUX. If you're ONIC, you're gonna favor Nolan for sure. That's the easiest option, like the surefire way to win games now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think the Nolan would be a very strong pickup from them. You know what? Oh no, Guinevere's out. So yeah, I would say the Nolan's safe. They could definitely take that and deal some massive damage. There it goes right there. Credits to Wolf and that amazing prediction. FLUX, though, left with the response here. They let the Nolan walk, and where do they go from here, right? I mean, the Arlot is still on the table if they do want to pick up something like that. Actually, you know what? No, they could run something like the Barats and run some sustainability on top of that. It did walk through this draft. We know FLUX Esports likes to pick those core marksmen that we typically see, that Claude, that carry. We saw ONIC steal the carry away from them. They responded back with the Claude. So definitely maybe picking up their marksman here because they have priority on whichever one they want. Should be a focus. And then I would say maybe even the Barats would be a little safe. Okay, there goes the Angela. So there should be a Barats pickup here because I think that would be the second, unless you pick up the Rafaela. I mean, that's the second support that I would kind of pair up with it. But no, they go in for something else entirely. Oh, okay. So the Terizla pickup. So at least I have crowd control, but that's not really something that I would have expected with some of the other prioritized targets on the board.
Yeah, okay, so I think that because they already know that the Nolan was picked up, they didn't feel like hard pressed to immediately pick up their jungler, like maybe Barat or Joy, because they already know that Nolan is there. There's no reason to pick that up. So they pick up Terizla, but that means that ONIC might just go back to the carry. I'm thinking like Carrie and Brody here for ONIC, but there are teams that like to play Claude up against Angela. But up against a Terizla, that might not be the choice. And knowing that they have Nolan, they typically pair this up with Brody, Harith, heroes that are dependable or independent. I mean, independent in the side lane. So that's Harith and that's Arlot as well from ONIC. Yeah, really smart decision here from ONIC. So FLUX, they're left with the Joy.
Ooh, okay. ONIC getting creative though. That Harris pickup could be a possible problem. I mean, with the Joy walking on the table, normally we see it kind of banned super early. It may need a little bit of suppression or some single target CC to kind of keep him in his tracks. And we don't see a roamer yet for the side of ONIC, but they don't have that much CC really in their favor. I mean, they got a little bit of slow from the Harith. They've got the final slash over there from the Arlot, but he's going to profit off of some more group CC. So maybe, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they kind of combo it in with over there for Arlot. But looking at FireFlux, I do like the Joy pickup. It's very interesting. It is going to put a lot of pressure, though, on the Terizla to kind of open up these engagements, right? I mean, I guess he has a little bit of a saving grace from Apex 47 to keep him alive when he drops in with those penalty zones, but that's really what they're going to be banking on. Either finding a way for Joy to get to the back line and pop that electrifying beats and pretty much take down either Sans or Albert. But for TNG or for the Terizla pickup, I feel like that's just going to be very aggressive. You're going to really have to bank on him getting into the front line, dropping a penalty zone, and then also having Apex 47 attached to him to be able to keep him alive and open up these games. But they are going against a Harith who does kind of love the up-close and personal fight, which may be a little bit of a challenge.
I think ONIC are purposely overloading their dashes so that FireFlux will be tempted to go for a Phoveus, which, by the way, has been picked up by FireFlux before. However, because of the Terizla being already picked up by FireFlux, might not be considering that anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So, but there's the possibility because it was picked up in the mid lane before. Like a few actually played that so many times in the mid lane. Great versus Nolan versus our Harith and this Arlot. But like I said, it's a low-hanging fruit that you don't want to take because it might be poison. Because ONIC's really prepared for that. Yeah. So, what is the pick? They're looking for a marksman here for FireFlux. I'm thinking Brody for FireFlux because they should not go for a late-game hyper carry anymore because they already have the Joy. So, their side lane has to be at par with Harith. So I'm thinking like, Brody, carry, heroes that get activated much earlier for them to, there you go, the carry. What if ONIC goes back to some sustained kind of EXP lane? Maybe put this Arlot in the roam for Keyboy, then have Suns go for Aurora Vexana, heroes which matches up with the tempo of the Arlot. And then go for a sustained hero for Boots. Because now you have the Nolan. Usually if you go this route, you need sustain. So I'm thinking actually Uranus for ONIC. Although it's no longer the meta hero, but ONIC is a team that actually picks that up. And it has good synergy with both Harith as well as Nolan, where you're not that concerned about the side lanes. Well, they go Barretts anyways. So that's their sustain. Going in for Boots.
And hey, there it goes. They going for the Phoveus themselves. Hey, we're not going to bait it out. We're just going to pick it and dominate. I mean, there's a lot of dashes on their side. I feel like the Joy's a little fast though to be able to kind of get away from the demonic force. We'll have to see how that kind of plays into it.
Oh, it's
sustainability knocked up on the board as well. There goes the Feramis to keep them alive. And this is interesting, right? I mean, you've got a bully in the jungle with the Barats being able to kind of sustain himself in these engagements as long as he can get to his stacks. You are going to be looking at Boots running this Nolan in the XP lane. And then you're going to be looking at the Arlot being that roam position that we were looking for. Gold lane over there from Albert on the Harith, and then the mid lane with the Feramis. Now, I like the way this composition works out. It's definitely aggressive, though. Like, they're very... But you know what they do lack, though? They don't have that much range on their team. Definitely compared to the other side. But draft has been finalized. One more shot over there for FireFlux Esports to turn this around. They need to even out the series. If they lose here, it'll be a 2-0 sweep, and we'll be seeing ONIC be able to move on forward into the grand finals to go up against AP Bryn. Can they turn this around?
It's difficult, but they did pick up this X-Borg, which with all sense of the game, like the actual matchup against the 5 heroes that you can see from ONIC, surely it makes sense. But it forces you to go for Terizla Roam, which, by the way, has been trending recently. Not 100%. I don't agree 100% with that kind of mindset with the Terizla Roam. because it's too slow for my own taste. But hey, this is oh, it's not.
Whoa.
It's a mid lane Terizla.
My goodness. Okay,
Oh,
so I've seen a lot of
okay,
things so far in Game of Futures. We saw
okay.
Paquito in the mid lane from Nico. We see Terizla in the mid lane. What is going on? The XP laners, the fighters are taking over in that mage position. Rosa showcasing his hero pool. But, you know, I'm kind of questionable about it. And I'm not going to lie to you because we mentioned in game number 1, they really had a hard time when they were trying to get too creative with the draft on that Lunox jungle. And now, still going to go something a little bit not traditional, unorthodox, pick up the Terizla in the mid lane position. I hope they can perform well on it because ONIC is not one of those teams that you can easily pull off these types of drafts against.
Unbelievable that this actually happened and we witnessed it. But with all due fairness, it has a little merit to it because you maybe you farm a little bit faster than when you compare to Rome, obviously. But how do you actually play this Terizla, right? Do you play it in a tanky manner as the typical XP laner, or do you go damage at least because you're a mid laner? Because guess what? If in the early stages, you'd 100% need a lot more damage as FLUX Esports. Surely this joy hurts when it comes to the early rotations, but it's not as reliable as your typical mages like Fairmiss, for example, that can really cover your damage problems in the early stages of the game.
Right, they're going to be relying on Apex 47 for a little of that magic damage. You know, it is Barat in the XP lane, though. Boots is going to pick that up. Kyrie is going to be running the Nolan to be able to deal that quick burst damage. Now, the Barat's in the XP lane up against the Xborg, that's something interesting to see, right? I mean, Xborg definitely has that true damage, can kind of fight from afar. May be able to keep the Rats at bay, but he's doing a really good job of maintaining his stacks. The question is, who will be able to win the early phase? The last game, we saw ONIC take total control on a one-sided story up against FLUX Esports. Is the Terizla in the mid lane the difference?
I want to say yes, really badly. I want to say yes, but the easy answer is no. This might even be a liability. Now Alien has to get out. No control now for the turtle for FLUX Esports.
Yeah, no control indeed. But looks like they are still going in for it. Alien in a good position. Look at Keyboy, though, waiting for an opportunity to rush in with the final slash. Set up the team for an opportunity to get that retribution. Boots in position, pulling the aggro. Kyrie will find Alien. Down goes Xborg. First blood for the side. ONIC hard guard being activated, though, onto TNZ, rushing in. Another roam going down. TNZ, though, will claim this turtle for FLUX Esports and also draw a kill. Shuts down Kyrie, but now need to get out of there, making the most out of the mobility. On some skates, sliding through the land of Dawn as they're able to pull that off and take a kill to even out the scoreboard.
So ONIC really got baited into taking down Alien, which kind of makes a lot of sense. But then again, that Xborg is already very low. That actually forced Kyrie to commit some of his energy as well as some of his spells before the turtle fight to get into position to take out Alien. So he wasn't really in the best spot to start that turtle. And that also meant that he lost some HP, right? Because Alien had a little bit of poke in there. And that meant that when TNZ as well as Apex 47 combined with the hard guard, Kyrie had some of his tools were gone. So that's the reason why FLUX Esports easily committed onto Kyrie and took him out. Then the bonus is they got the turtle. So this is such a massive recovery from FLUX Esports.
Yeah, and they got to really watch out for TN, right? We talked about needing some sort of single target CC to stop him from getting to the back line. And he has a little bit of that momentum boost, knowing Apex 47 has the heart guard when things get a little tricky. And hey, he was able to take down Kyrie. So it looks like so far their plans are working in their favor. Speaking of TNZ, there it goes again. The dynamic duo combo giving ONIC a hard time, forcing out the Netherrealm. Rosa with the penalty zone tries to get away, but no, Kyrie with the response shuts him down 2-1. ONIC leading in kills, bottom side though. Last Sanity dropping detonus. Welcome from Boots into the bush for the stun, forcing out the flicker from Alien. Both of them very low, still taking this fight. A flicker in, and Boots draws the kill.
Wow, great movements coming out from Boots. baiting out Alien, and then the duel, he was able to win with that flicker. Alien didn't really expect that to happen, but now TNZ is going to be finishing up the kill, but there'll be a lot of trades here.
Ooh, Kyrie able to find Apex 47. He used the retribution on him to kind of keep him at bay, to be able to burst him down. He will not have that for this turtle, but like we said again, ONIC, one of those teams that kind of focus on getting those kills nice and early. It's okay. We know they're not going to go for this turtle anyway. We might as well get the slightest advantage we can. And there you have it, now leading the way 4-2. 1,000 gold lead, and the third kill so far from Kyrie. I mean, he was opening up the game in match number 1 over there with that Martis, and now it's looking like it's coming to fruition again with the Nolan pick.
Yeah, and you can see that they're not making the beeline towards the turtle yet, because it kind of felt like TNZ knows that he has a little bit of level advantage, so he can go for the purple first and then get the level 10. But Kyrie, that is a crucial Lethal Wanderer, by the way, because that's levels that it's EXP that you take away from Kyrie. So TNZ actually great heads-up play in that regard.
Yeah, definitely still putting on pressure, still trying to find a way to keep their momentum rolling. Even though ONIC has the slightest advantage, can't count them out just yet. Rosa pulled in down to about 50% HP. Rotating around with this untraditional pickup on this Terizla, but still trying to provide that opportunity with the penalty zones. Turtle spawned in though. There it goes. Heart Guard activated onto TNZ. Use the electrifying beats. Triple knockup. Rosa with the set. Alien with the punish. Finds Kyrie. Boots will take down TNZ. Rosa finds Boots. That is going to be a 2-for-2 trade as Albert shuts down Rosa. And wait a minute, Suns will shut down Alien. Apex 47 forced back into the tier 1 turret for the mid lane.
Oh, great plays coming out from FLUX, but even better recovery coming out from ONIC. This time they have activated Albert, and this is a 5v4 scenario where FLUX Esports got surprised, a little bit surprised at the decision to park the Harith in this case. However, Alien still managed to land a good ultimate with the flicker, without the flicker, I mean. Unfortunately, because ONIC had 5 of their members in that clash, it allowed ONIC to have a massive damage gap. However, FLUX, Sunshine was able to push top lane. That's a tier 2 turret that he was able to take away when the fight happened. So I think that, honestly, after all the things that happened, FLUX Esports might have had the better trade. Even when they're not leading when it comes to the gold right now, I think that specific trade, you are very happy if you're FLUX Esports.
Yeah, definitely credits to Sunshine over there. Some good rotations to be able to open up an opportunity for FLUX Esports, keeping them in this game up against ONIC. I mean, FLUX did a good start, though. They were able to take that turtle, the first turtle. The second one got lost to ONIC, so at least both sides were able to pull a turtle off so far. In terms of map control, though, I mean, yeah, you're looking at FLUX Esports having the slightest advantage. It's definitely going to be a battle over who could take this mid lane turret next. You're already seeing ONIC realizing this is the next focus, and they are going to go ahead and shift on over to that. Now, everything is on the line for FLUX Esports right now, right? I mean, if they lose this game, they're done. They're knocked out of Game of Futures 2024, packing their bags and going home. ONIC, they have insurance. They know if we lose this, hey, we're going through to Game 3, baby, so no need to worry. But FLUX Esports, a lot of pressure on their side, and you can definitely tell they're giving it their all and playing a little bit more calculated this time around. Speaking of calculation, another round going down. TNZ is going to find Kyrie. Big play for FLUX Esports, but the response back from ONIC. Last standing from Alien for some massive AoE damage. Albert will find Sunshine. TNZ trying to get away. Heart Guard activated, keeping him alive. Keyboy in the chase, but now the response back. The stun from Apex 47. The counterplay from TNZ. Maybe able to get him. Shuts down Keyboy. Albert responds back, taking down TNZ. Rosa trying to make his way back into the mid lane. Albert and Boots on the chase. Will drop down. Nizam and Force and Albert will take down Rosa. Last Insanity, though. The punish back. Both of these teams fighting it out, getting answers across the board. Alien shuts down Albert, but Albert will take him out as well. That is a 3-for-2 trade, but ONIC leading the way, still 11-7, and now pulling the aggro for this Lord.
Oh my god, ONIC, what a good exchange for both teams, in fact. Like, it's a showcase of skills. TNZ overheating and trying to punish Keyboy, but Keyboy good communication between Kiboy as well as Albert. Kiboy did not move, so that TNC will also be pinned into that spot. And he kind of survived for a little bit. That is Arlott anyways with a lot of spell vamps. So that's why he had a little bit of staying power. It allowed Albert to close in the gap and get the to eventually get a triple. He eventually died because of that. But because TNC died after Kyrie was already long overdue when it comes to respawn, that allowed ONIC to have a better trade-off after the kills, right? Because Kyrie has now respawned, he can burst the Lord so easily, as you've seen, and because TNZ died a few seconds when Kyrie is already dead, he wasn't able to reach the Lord fight. So that's gonna be great for ONIC, forcing the Heart Guard again against FLUX Esports.
Yeah, and a good play too, right? I mean, they noticed a little bit of that focus from Apex 47 onto TNZ, forces out the hard guard, opens up the opportunity to take that turret on the top side and the turret for the mid lane defense though. Rosa with the full sin dive with penalty zone hit with Detna's welcome boots. Gets the stun on the wall. Zama Force drops down. Albert trying to find his 6th kill of the game. Highest kills in the game so far for ONIC as they open up this map even more in their favor, leading by 1 turret and also up by 3,000 gold.
Yeah, good pressure coming out from ONIC, but definitely a great defense from a decent defense coming out from FLUX Esports. They're not losing some of their members, but they are trailing behind when it comes to the goal. TNC wants to fight this.
Looks like they want to take the fight, but can they pull it off? Last Sanity going down. Alien does not have the Faraga army, needs to get out of there. Chunked very low. ONIC putting on some pressure up against FLUX Esports. Now, taking control of this game. FLUX having to kind of be reactive. Similar to the first game we've seen. I wouldn't say as much of a one-sided story, but still, you can tell ONIC is controlling the tempo.
Yeah. Great plays coming up from FLUX. So far, I mean, from ONIC, but TNZ, I think that there's a lot of, there should be a lot of credit that could be given to this guy, 4-2-2 at this point. Like, playing the Joy in a very aggressive manner, even when they're trailing behind. He knows the limits of the hero that, in a way, especially because they have the Angela, but more so because of how much he's able to be aggressive. The thing for ONIC is that they know how to deal with this, how to handle this kind. I want to say poke coming out from the Joy, which is not actually a poke because it's an assassin. And, it doesn't like visually makes a lot of sense to say that is poke, but in a way that is what TNZ is doing. Like he's looking for an opening at least. He's making an opening so that ONIC will just back out and maybe he finds 1 kill or maybe he attracts ONIC's attention and baits them. But ONIC is not gonna fall for the trap.
Speaking of traps, major objective on the way. Luminous Lord intact. Tienzio, he's going to join the party nice and early. He's going to jump in with the electrifying beats. You are going to see the Heart Guard activated, but I don't know about that because that's 2 major ultimates off the playing field. A chance for ONIC to respond if they do want to take this clash. You are going to go ahead and see Kyrie, though, respawn back to the base. A little bit of that regen, getting ready to go ahead and take that purple buff. Boots in a good position. I mean, he's running this Barats, right? He's a bully. He has all his stacks. He's able to maintain them off of this Lord and also in the mid lane. But now you are seeing FLUX Esports trying to go in, trying to actually take this fight in the Lord pit.
Interesting. FLUX Esports went for that. They don't have the Heart Guard. But they have a healthy minion wave from top to bottom, so maybe that's why they feel confident.
Ooh, wow! Confidence. There you have it. TNZ able to pull it off, gets a kill, takes out Kyrie, and claims the Lord for FLUX Esports. Now they just need to get out of there. Rosa with the penalty zone on their way out. Nobody will fall for the side of FLUX Esports. Mission accomplished, and hey, this is what they need to do to stay in this game.
FLUX Esports, great understanding of how to take the Lord, to counter the Lord, because they know that TNZ is max level anyways, so is Kyrie, so there'll always be a 50-50. Then TNZ actually went against 5, so that's crazy. But at the same time, the setup was there. If you're going to be looking at the map, FLUX's minion wave management was actually on point. Top was pushing heavily, bottom was pushing heavily, so FLUX had a lot more opening, actually, to take that Lord. And indeed, they were able to do so. TNZ just right amount of confidence and right amount of aggression to actually even up this game. Alien.
is going to rush in. Heartguard activated, keeping Sunshine alive. A little bit of a close call. FLUX Esports, you know, they were down for majority of this game. Rosa with the flicker to safety. The pendulum has swung in their favor, right? Able to steal this Lord. Like you said, give some credit over to TNZ on the way he's been kind of rotating around, especially running this Joy who we typically see banned out, and nothing really to stop him from getting into these neutral objectives. He's really leaning on not having to worry about that single target CC. Apex 47 with the Heart Guards to keep him alive, and it's getting the job done almost every single time when it comes to the contest for these neutral engagements, and it's something that ONIC is going to have to watch out for, because the later this game goes, the stronger these Lords are. If FLUX can continue to get these steals, ONIC will be forced to the defense and try and hold them off from evening out the series.
Oh, look at Joy. This is the timing where Joy is much stronger than a Nolan. So in the early stages, Nolan is faster compared to the Joy. Nolan is actually more bursty, I guess, compared to the Joy. But at this point, where they're all locked out, all of the with 4 items already up for TNZ, eventually gets to the fifth whole item. That Joy is gonna hurt, right? So it definitely, when it comes to 1v1, Kyrie will not survive that. There's no, you don't want to go Winter Truncheon if you are, if you're the Nolan. Not even the Immortality, right? So you want to go all out damage. There's no way for you to stop the Angela Joy combo. So FLUX Esports are really showcasing how good their composition is. However, ONIC still is winning when it comes to the economy. It's, oh my God.
Kyrie finding Apex 47, NetherRealm being activated. TNZ trying to get away. They finally caught him. Detonus welcome from Boots Sans takes the kill. High value target in there. Finish. Sunshine trying to escape. Hit with the final slash. Kyrie still in the deal with the fracture. We'll shut him down. Albert in the mid lane. We'll find Arian. One more member left to go. Rosa, the mid lane to Rizla. Left to fight the full 5-man team. What time is it? What time is it, Wolf? Oh, you know what time it is. It's on.
You know what time it is.
As they are pushing through the mid lane. Kyrie, king of the sky, now king of the ground, claims the full life against FLUX Esports and moves on to the grand finals of Game of Futures 2024.
In a snap, in fact. And I don't know if you've ever played other games like sports games, but that is definitely a superstar trigger that we saw. Like literally the timing where it kind of felt like for 17 minutes or for 16 minutes they're just charging up their bars and waiting for that superstar trigger to kick in. Eventually all of them got that all together, and the jump they're coming out from Kyrie looking for the perfect target, the Angela, the only defense for them. They pick him up and then they found the Joy. Boots committed the flicker, an ultimate to lock down the Joy. Then eventually they found another. Rosa couldn't run, Sunshine couldn't run. They got wiped away in a snap. And that's ONIC just activating their superstar trigger against FLUX Esports, who happens to be really recovering from this game.
Yeah, definitely put on a lot of pressure as we jump through that match. I mean, at some point it looked like they were going to be able to kind of close it out themselves, but ONIC being resilient as ever, able to find the opportunity they were looking for, and like you said, the snap of a finger, able to kind of take that game in a flash, all from one mistake from the side of FLUX Esports, and that's all it takes when you're going up against a team of this caliber. The higher we go on this ladder, the altitude is rising, and only so many teams can handle that pressure. ONIC rising to the occasion. They saw RQ Hoshi fall to AP Brennan. They said, hey, we're the last one standing out there from Indonesia. This is our stand, and we don't plan on going out without a fight. Able to pull it off. A great execution to be able to close out this game. That means we're going to be having a grand finals between the last standing team from the Philippines, AP Brin, up against the last standing team from Indonesia. It's ONIC time.
Here, we can see that FLUX Esports are actually finding some ways, and this is Boots is going for the flicker. Sunshine from the left side, found by Keyboy, of all people. Keyboy just kind of smells where the opponents are, and he even used that flicker in a very flashy manner as was the final slash, just to control Sunshine. And the house of cards that FLUX built just crumbled down so easily in a snap and a trigger of a finger. And I gotta say, yeah, I do agree with this MVP. Picks 1 and 4. Albert kept ONIC in this game. When Kyrie was already struggling because of the nature of Nolan versus Angela Joy matchup, Albert picked up the slack. And to be fair, he had a triple in this game, and almost all of those clashes, he was able to output enough damage to kind of secure his team. And in that last set of team fights as well, he was so smooth with his movements, like very efficient with his Harith. And that's how you know that he is definitely an expert at this hero. And overall, the members of ONIC Esports is just built around this composition. They knew exactly how to execute.
Yeah, speaking of execution, there you go. As you see, both teams on the board so far. An amazing series for ONIC. FLUX Esports, though, definitely rose to the occasion. Didn't really disappoint. Able to take down Blacklist at the end of the day and show some promising things for the region as we kind of progress through the year for Mobile Legends 2024. But ONIC, now with them moving on to that final spot in the grand finals, this is going to be a repeat of M5.
Yes, sir.
Getting to see ONIC versus AP Bryn, which went all the way to a game number 7. Now, everybody, you know, especially out there in Indonesia, all those Kyrie fans, you know, definitely hurt their hearts to see them fall. Even Kyrie himself, you can tell how bad he really wanted that victory. And now able to get a second chance to go up against AP Bryn, and this time for an even bigger prize pool.
Oh,
will he be able to step up to the occasion? But Philippines ready to take on that fight. AP Bryn still looking stronger than ever. One of the best records so far in the Game of Futures 2024. And that is only painting half the picture of how great these teams have been performing today. But we are now officially down to the top 2 teams in Game of Futures 2024. There you see some of the stats on board so far. Sans and Rosa. There you go. Yep. You asked the question, does Rosa step up to the occasion? It's a tall glass to be filled.